What's up, PlayStation Universe? This is Senior Editor Kyle Prawl, bringing you impressions of the game I just saw at Sony's booth, Bloodborne. Now, I know you saw Bloodborne during Sony's press conference last night, but I was fortunate enough to see about 30 minutes of live gameplay played by the game's director, Miyazaki, with From Software. Now, they clarified for me that this game is being produced by Japan Studio and still developed by From Software, so you're getting the same Demon Souls, Dark Souls type action that you've grown to love, but it's coming from Sony exclusively. Importantly, though, it's not the same Demon Souls you remember. They made a very strong point that Bloodborne is more aggressive than Demon Souls. It takes a proactive approach to combat versus sort of the defensive wait-and-see type of game that you play with Demon Souls. But we saw 30 minutes of gameplay, and we watched the hero, or the main character, move through the city of, wrote it down here, Bjarnum, which is very 19th century, very gothic. You got a sense of that in the trailer a little bit, but it's absolutely true in gameplay respects as well. I also noted that the environments we were moving through were very, very densely layered. Now, I wrote in my review of Thief a few months ago that Thief's city was very much similar. Thief had, the alleyways and rooftops crisscrossing over each other. There were many pathways to get to the same place, and Bjarnum looks to be the same, except even more complex. We watched the hero move through all kinds of tight alleyways, little staircases, taking shortcuts through rooms, getting beset by the monsters, the beasts that are Bloodborne's main enemy the whole way through. So that's an important point as well. The main force that you're fighting in Bloodborne are humans, or once humans, now turned into these beasts by the infection that's plaguing Bjarnum, this plague. A couple other points. I noted a few cool things. So very bloody, very visceral combat. I watched the main character's robe and cloak wetten and dampen as blood splatters built up over time from all the really visceral explosions coming from these enemies you were killing. Also importantly, combat is, like I mentioned, much more aggressive. In this demo, the main character was wielding two weapons. I'm gonna rotate this, get a little more stability. There we go. The main character was wielding two weapons. So there was a firearm and what they called a saw cleaver. Saw cleaver, I believe. I wrote that down. Right, a saw cleaver. One in each hand. Now, I think they mentioned firearms or something to that effect in the demo during Sony's conference. But seeing it in action was something interesting because it's not functioning the way you'd expect a firearm to be, like useful at long range, that kind of thing. In Bloodborne, the firearms are very much a close combat weapon as a way to stun enemies and open up counterattack opportunities for your special attack with the saw cleaver or whatever you happen to be holding in that other hand. Also importantly, the saw cleaver was transformable, and they indicated that many weapons in the game will be transformable in some sense. The saw cleaver in particular started as kind of this really small blunt weapon with kind of that really compact, only about arm's length, but then you could switch between that, which was useful for breaking shields and breaking guard, into a much longer version. It kind of flipped out, and you got the big menacing-looking saw blade, slicing up enemies, really wide, devastating cleave attacks. So all that was on display. Looked really fluid, looked really fast, a lot of dodges. Just much faster than what I've seen from Demon Souls and Dark Souls, and a very aggressive playstyle. Miyazaki promised that, or assured that, you cannot play this the same way as Demon Souls. If you sit there and wait defensively for your open opportunity, you're going to get overwhelmed by the enemies that creep up from the shadows behind barrels. I was very surprised to see all the little corners that enemies popped out of during the demo, and a few nasty-looking enemies besides. These crows. Oh my goodness. We're moving across this bridge, and these three ginormous crows creep up from the ground where they were effectively blending in because of the color of their feathers, and they can't fly because they're like these plague beast crows. They're like hopping towards you and just cawing and pecking out at you. It was terrifying to me. Almost as terrifying as the final boss of that section itself, which we only got to see a snippet of. It was huge, menacing, had all kinds of crazy stuff growing out of its arms, but wasn't able to get too great a sense of difficulty simply because given the stresses of a gameplay demo, essentially God mode was turned on. But I did personally ask Miyazaki how the difficulty is going to shape up to Demon Souls and Dark Souls, and he assured that while you won't expect something dramatically more difficult than Demon's Souls, and he joked because PlayStation wouldn't allow that as an exclusive, in truth, they're definitely targeting that same realm of difficulty, and they actually expect the feeling of relief and victory you feel at the end of a hard battle to be even greater because of the aggressive and daring, perilous approach that you have to take to combat. So Bloodborne's coming along. It's currently targeting 2015 as a PlayStation exclusive, and thanks for watching this video. We're going to bring you more gameplay impressions throughout the week as we spend time in all the booths here at E3 2014. So keep it here at psu.com. See you later.